The NFL season is quickly approaching, and we are here to help you with your NFL best ball and fantasy football drafts. Now, if you haven't been here before, my name is Bradley with Allaqcess Sports, and we provide fantasy football and DFS content, most importantly, all season long. Today, we're going to be doing our best ball draft. We're going to go from start to finish and draft a complete team so that you can see kind of where that ADP is for a lot of the players that you're thinking of getting. Maybe you haven't done your draft yet. This will hopefully put into some alignment where these players are actually getting drafted. And if you've already done your draft, maybe you're thinking of doing another one. Here's how you could have done it a little bit differently. If you like this kind of video and you want to see more, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. If you see me make any errors, because I'm an idiot and I'm prone to making errors, my father used to tell me that all the time. You're a screw up, Bradley. Put that down in the comments below. And I hope to see you back here for our sleepers, studs, and stacks, where every week in the NFL season, we give you our best value plays, the guys that you need to pay up for, and then the best stacks so that you can take down the millionaire maker. That's probably way too long of an intro because you don't care. You're only here for the pick, so let's get into it. Hey, yo, I definitely understand, and I do not need to see this again. Let's enter. All right, we're in. So it's currently 4 out of 12 filled. Obviously, if you haven't played it before, you need to know you need to wait for your lobby to fill. Once it fills, then your draft will get started. It does this in little 12 entry pocket intervals. Hey, yo, there's a sale at TJ Maxx. Let's go. Oh, and Target. Hey, yo, don't tell my wife. Ulta is also running a special. Yo, do you think this is going to fill or not? More than halfway home. 7 out of 12, baby. 7 out of 12. So I hate when people give you pre-draft rankings because you can never really tell how it's going to go. Your drafting style from pick number 2 to if you are pick number 10 is completely different in my opinion. All right, the draft is here. It is underway, and it looks like we're going to have pick not great, in my opinion. I hate picking low, and we're going to have the end around with pick 12 and 13. So we're going to be back-to-back, which I guess sucks, but also could play to our advantage. You're not going to have to wait on anyone. You're not going to have to decide, hey, do I need to take my quarterback now because everyone else has drafted it? At this point, you're going to have to play a completely different game. Pick number 1's on the clock, and it looks like they only have 3 seconds left, and they're not going to be here to make their pick, so they're probably going to get auto-pick Jonathan Taylor, which, of course, does happen. So if we want to go look at some of the players that we're going to have at our disposal, it looks like Stephon Diggs, Najee Harris, Joe Mixon, who I quietly am a huge fan of. Mike Evans is another good one. And then DeAndre Swift could be a really good pick. We'll have to reach a little bit for him, but at 12-13, you're going to have to reach for a lot of your picks. You're never going to just take the top 2 quality players every single time at pick 12 and 13. Jeff Schwartzy decides to go with Cooper Kupp, wide receiver, off the board. Christian McCaffrey, the best running back in the league, in case you didn't know. I mean, he might be top 5 when he's healthy. So we'll go with that one. Man, this kind of sucks because we're going to be doing a lot of waiting in between picks, but it's fun. It's good to see exactly where people are going, who's being drafted early, who's not being drafted early, and for your own drafts that you're going to be doing at home. Austin Eckler, Travis Kelce goes. Everything kind of to par right now. Jamar Chase is sitting there. I don't think he can replicate exactly what he did last year. His numbers were above average for expected outcomes. But that doesn't mean he's not going to have an elite season still. Derrick Henry still sitting there at number 7. He's taken. Dalvin Cook could be the next to go. So we'll probably go with one of these 2 wide receivers, Devontae Adams, Stephon Diggs, if they're available. And then if not, we'll go Joe Mixon and Mike Evans. If we don't get a wide receiver, we'll go Joe Mixon, Mike Evans. If there is a wide receiver, we'll go Devontae Adams and probably DeAndre Swift. I personally think there isn't a huge, so we'll take, what did I say, Joe Mixon? I forgot what I said already. All right, yeah, we're probably going to go Joe Mixon here, and then we'll take Mike Evans. We're going to have to wait, 23 picks for us to go again to get a running back? There's a lot of people who say that they are big on the 0 running back draft strategy, which is fair. There's such a little discrepancy between, what was it? The difference between 1 and 5 was greater than 5 and 30 in terms of results from running backs. So I get it. You don't have to get a running back early. But me personally, in this position with picks 12, 13 back-to-back, I think that I needed to go ahead and get a running back. Dalvin Cook was the last one. Josh Allen. Again, he was ADP 22. We'll switch over to this screen for a little bit. Hopefully you can see it. Josh Allen, Tyreek Hill at 21. I don't know if I really love Tyreek Hill with Tua Tagovailoa. It's not a bad pick by any means, but I don't think he's going to have the same numbers that he had last year. And there goes DeAndre Swift, who should be in a better opportunity this year with a little bit more weapons on the outside. They added Allen Robinson to Detroit. Jared Goff should have a little bit better of a year. I don't think it's going to be great, but DeAndre Swift, when healthy, is an absolutely electric back. Aaron Jones, Saquon Barkley. Let's see who's left. Deebo Samuel. Looking ahead, we're going to have pick 36 and 37. If we go see who's around that point right now for average draft position, DJ Moore is a great pick. I think he's going to have a much better year this year. Kyle Pitts, Patrick Mahomes, Ezekiel Elliott, not too high on compared to everyone else. Jalen Waddle, Malcolm Brown. So a lot of wide receivers. Cam Akers would be interesting. Justin Herbert, a little bit of a reach. But again, at the 12-13 on the flip, you're not really too worried about reaching because you're going to have to reach for the majority of your picks. Leonard Fournette comes into camp. What was it, 20, 30 pounds overweight? Keenan Allen, Mark Andrews, Nick Chubb, taking that pick 24, so right where he needs to be. Alvin Kamara is a very good pick. If you look at Alvin Kamara's numbers last year, he actually had a magnificent year, 21-21. Look at this little pocket of games right here. 27, 20, 16, 36, 29. He was still able to produce last year at a very high level. Wouldn't be surprised to see that again. Michael Pittman Jr. going. Matt Ryan. I think he's really going to improve that offense this year in Indianapolis. Jonathan Taylor is just one of the best backs in the league. Patrick Mahomes taken, the second quarterback off? I think Josh Allen was the first. T. Higgins, A.J. Brown. We'll switch over to the players that are available. Travis Etienne, James Conner, DJ Moore sitting there. I think that's probably where we're going to go if he's available. If he's not, maybe Cortland Sutton. We're not sure exactly how that Denver wide receiver room is going to be looking this year, but I have to imagine Cortland Sutton's going to get his fair share of receptions. Cam Akers, listen, could have been rookie of the year. Should have had an excellent year last year. I think people are sleeping on him because of the ankle injury that he had. Going Cam Akers and Justin Herbert, not horrible. I'd like to get another wide receiver, DJ Moore if he's available. 2 straight 1,300-yard seasons. I'm fine with putting that into my lineup. And then getting Cam Akers. And then probably next time we're going to have to go after a quarterback, which would be pick 60 and 61. Am I crazy? Yeah, 60 and 61. Which, look, you have Kyler Murray here. Jalen Hurts is a very good option. Looking at his numbers from last year, 18, 12, 29, 9, 30, 19, 16, 11, 24, 23, 26. I'm fine with those. If we get a couple quarterbacks that can have big weeks splashed in, I'm fine with that into my lineup. Pick history. Again, we went DJ Moore, Cam Akers. Kyle Pitts goes off. Travis Etienne off the board. I personally still like James Robinson in that offense. I know he's probably going to be the starter for Etienne, but I really like James Robinson. Lamar Jackson, a little bit of a reach at the 48 pick, going 41. David Montgomery from Chicago. Listen, people are saying Khalil Herbert is going to steal some carries from David Montgomery in Chicago. I don't see it happening. David Montgomery was very good last year. If Cam Akers was gone, I definitely would have taken David Montgomery. I don't understand why he's falling as far as he is. He gets a couple of catches out of the backfield. Look at these targets. 3, 2, 9, 6, 7, 21, 23, 14, 28, 25. He had some really good games last year, especially later on in the season. I think it's a good pick, especially at the spot. 47, he should be going in the 30s. Amon-Ra, a little bit of a reach. And I'm not sure if he's going to have the same results that he did at the end of the season, this big pocket of numbers. Hopefully you can see those. The 29, 38, 26, 35 over here on the side. And then you look at some of his numbers at the beginning of the year, earlier in the year. They were a little bit lower. So those might get adjusted a little bit because TJ Hawkinson was out at one point in the year. Whoever the other wide receiver was also out for a little bit. Catch you up on some of the picks. Justin Herbert, Gabriel Davis, Breece Hall. I'm really surprised Breece Hall is going as RB1. I don't think he's been named the official starter yet. Cortland Sutton goes off Joe Burrow with the reach, 20 picks later than his actual ADP. Normally going around 69, being drafted at position 48. So people are reaching for quarterbacks already. Just need to keep that in mind. We might need to go ahead and grab a quarterback here. At least one of our spots get a quarterback. Scary Terry goes at 49. George Kittle to 51. I think George Kittle's in line for a big year. I think if you don't get Travis Kelce, I'm fine with George Kittle. I think he's going to have a really, really good year. Juju Smith-Schuster goes off at 52. New place. He's in Kansas City. Should do well there. There's a lot of options, but none of them are great in Kansas City, right? You lose Tyreek Hill. You now have Juju Smith-Schuster. Byron Pringle's also gone. I believe he's in, Chicago now? So, it's going to be between him and probably Sky Moore, the new draft pick. Malcolm Brown still sitting there at Arizona, and I think that's a really good pick for whoever gets Malcolm Brown. You don't have DeAndre Hopkins the first 6 weeks of the season, right, because of his suspension. Christian Kirk is gone. It's either going to be Malcolm Brown or Zach Ertz on the receiving end of a lot of those passes. Darnell Mooney is here for us. Jerry Jeudy, the other wide receiver from Denver, you can take a chance on that. Rashad Bateman, I don't know if I've seen a wide receiver from Baltimore go yet. Kyler Murray from Arizona is available, and that might be where we go with our quarterback position. I know I just mentioned he doesn't have a lot of people to throw to, but he does have that huge rushing upside. And I wouldn't be mad if I get Kyler Murray, Adam Thielen, Kyler Murray, J.K. Dobbins, who's probably going to be the starter, or even getting Jalen Hurts in that. Chris Godwin's here, but he's going to be injured for the first couple of weeks of the season. So I think we're going to get one of the two quarterbacks, which would be Kyler Murray or Jalen Hurts if they're available. And then probably go Adam Thielen. I think you can see my lineup over here on the far right. Let's scroll down a little bit. We have Joe Mixon, Cam Akers, Mike Evans, DJ Moore. So we have our two running backs. We have two wide receivers. We need to get another one. A.J. Dillon just went off the board. I think we take Kyler Murray. But, man, I really like Jalen Hurts. We'll go Kyler. And then our next wide receiver, Darnell Mooney's a good option. Jerry Jeudy, I think, could be okay. But I don't love him. Rashad Bateman, I like a little bit more. But I think the one I like the most would be Adam Thielen. So we'll take Adam Thielen. Like, he never lets you down, right? 23, 22, 11, 19, 32. He has those big boomer bust weeks. A great option for best ball. I don't want someone that consistently gives me 10 points. I want a guy that's going to give me 32 or 8. That's just my personal preference. Because if you have enough guys on your bench and you stash enough guys away, eventually one of them is going to hit. One of them is going to pay off. Our next pick is going to be coming up at pick 84-85 on that turn. So if we scroll down, we'll see who could be available. Dak Prescott, another quarterback that could be available, who obviously puts up very good numbers on a weekly basis when his wide receivers are healthy. Tom Brady might be there. Miles Sanders, he is running back 1 in Philadelphia, but Boston Scott, Kenneth Gainwell, Jalen Hurts, they're all vulturing red zone touches from him, and I don't know why. Tony Pollard, Christian Kirk in Jacksonville with Trevor Lawrence could be a fantastic option. Trey Lance is also a wide receiver there. So we're going to have at least a quarterback that we can possibly take with plenty of options, as well as a couple of running back situations here. So we'll take a look at that when we get there. If you look at some of the recent picks, Hunter Renfrow, I don't think is going to have that good of a year. He's going to have plenty of targets. I don't think he's going to – I'll take it back. He's going to have a good year. I don't think it's going to be a repeat of last year. Devin Singletary, they now have the new running back in Cook. So people are saying that Zach Moss dynasty era is over in Buffalo, so it's going to be Singletary and Cook. Elijah Mitchell from San Francisco, very good pick. Here, Jerry Jeudy finally went off the board, was ranked 54, went at 65. Dalton Schultz, Damian Harris, ranked 75. I think a lot of people are saying Ramondre Stevenson is going to eat into Damian Harris's allotment of carries. I think it's a good pick. I think the way that New England has always used their running backs, as long as James White isn't healthy, I think Damian Harris is still going to get his fair share. Rashad Bateman, Chris Godwin goes off, J.K. Dobbins, an excellent pick. Darnell Mooney, Amari Cooper, T.J. Hawkinson, Rashad Penny, going to be the number 1 back in Seattle without a doubt. And if you look at some of the numbers that he put up last year, Look at how he ended this season. 28, 35, 22, 29. Those are really good numbers. I don't know how it's going to work with Drew Lock, but if they love Rashad Penny again like they did last year, he could be in for another big year. Tom Brady goes off. Now DeAndre Hopkins. Looking ahead, there's Jalen Hurts still sitting at the top. Devonta Smith, who's I think technically still wide receiver 1, right? Nothing screamed exciting last year with the exception of these little middle pocket of games. So I think that's shooting craps. I think Elijah Moore is a better pick, and that he just goes off. 3 picks away. We'll probably have one of these 2 quarterbacks here that we can take a pick on. A couple of wide receivers exist. Michael Thomas is here as well. Trey Lance, Valdez Scantling in Kansas City. Stafford's available. Go there. Stafford goes off the board. So they take Stafford before Jalen Hurts or Russell Wilson. I'm kind of inclined to take Russell Wilson. Kind of. I think Christian Kirk could be a good one. But man, I think we go Devonta and Jalen. We'll team these 2 up. If we look at my team over here on the side, Adam Thielen's already out week 7. Kyler Murray's out 13. So Devonta Smith goes off. Man, where do we want to go here? I think Kareem Hunt's also a sneaky good play. Aaron Rodgers is still available. Derek Carr's available. Zach Ertz is available. I think we go Jalen Hurts. Maybe we take Miles Sanders. I don't love the pick of Miles Sanders because of this 5.5, but he has those 19 and 20. He would get some targets on occasion, but it just never seemed to amount to what I wanted it to amount to. Do we go Christian Kirk? Do we take the chance of Christian Kirk being there for Jacksonville? I think so. I think we take Christian Kirk. I would have liked to have gotten Dallas Goedert, actually. Now that I see him here, I should have gone Dallas. And that's a bummer. That's a real bummer. I didn't even realize Dallas Goedert was still there. But it's okay. We need to get a tight end. We don't have a single tight end. And that would have made a lot of sense for Bradley. You know what? So we can't all be perfect, okay? We cannot all be perfect. Maybe, just maybe, he'll still be existing when we get our next pick. Moving forward, 108 and 109 is our next picks. Melvin Gordon is a good running back. See, could have saved a running back pick for here. Ramondre Stevenson. Zach Ertz might be available. I doubt it, but he might be. Tyler Boyd, a good option, especially if there's any injuries in that Cincinnati offense. Tyler Boyd immediately elevates his play. Kenneth Walker, RB2 in Seattle. Don't love it. Irv Smith, the tight end from Minnesota. I think there's plenty of tight ends you can get later on in the draft. To name a few, Njoku, Evan Ingram, I think is pretty good. Brake goes down because of the recent signing of whoever it was. I can't remember. Logan Thomas is a really good pick. Kyle Rudolph, that's who it was. Conklin, the tight end out of New York Jets. He had a decent year last year. Again, I probably should have taken Dallas Goedert. I'm a little upset with myself right now. Fingers crossed that he's still there. Maybe some people want to start reaching pretty bad here. And there he goes. He's off the board. Look at some of the other picks. Mike Gesicki just went. Tony Pollard just went. Miles Sanders just went. Michael Carter. Pick ADP 138. That's way below. I was thinking of maybe taking him with our next pick. Really surprised someone dropped that low to get him. But hey, if you know who you want, you know who you want. Next pick, we're probably going to need to get another running back and a tight end. We have 2 quarterbacks, running back, and a tight end is definitely where we need to go. So be thinking that, unless something's staring us in the face. So Melvin Gordon could be an option. 20, 10, 26, 17, 20. Had his fair share of moments. Again, Javonte Williams is the clear-cut number 1 there. But Melvin Gordon should get an opportunity, especially if they're leading in the game. Put him in the red zone. Let him just feast. I'm fine with that. Chris Olave in New Orleans. So Melvin Gordon will be there. I think if we go Melvin Gordon and Tyler Boyd, I'm fine with it. Chase Claypool could be interesting. Sky Moore if we want to take a real shot in the dark. He'll be competing with, again, Juju and McCole Hardman. Tim Patrick's there. Two. Alexander Madison, if you want to play the handcuff game. Justin Fields, Michael Gallup, Rondale Moore out of Arizona. Again, can't overstate this enough. DeAndre Hopkins not going to be there for the first few games. Ramondre Stevenson, Chase Edmonds, Chris Olave, Melvin Gordon went. Another person reaching a little bit for Michael Hardman, pick 116. Tyler Lockett goes next. We're about 3 picks away. So we should be able to get Zach Ertz, which I am more than happy with if we get Zach Ertz. But you know what? We shouldn't have spoken into existence. We shouldn't have said Zach Ertz's name because he's probably going to go before we get a chance to pick him. But without DeAndre Hopkins, I think Zach Ertz and I think Dallas Goedert is just as good as George Kittle on a good week. I think Zach Ertz has the opportunity to do the same. Hopefully, defenses pay a little bit more attention to the guys that are outside. We'll take Zach Ertz with pick 1. We'll save that for now. Think about where we're going to go second. Brandon Ayuk could be a pick. But I don't think I love him as much as Tyler Boyd, which was a pass-heavy offense. He had some really good weeks. If any injuries come through, I think he's going to be elevated immediately. So we'll take that. We'll take Tyler Boyd and Zach Ertz. We do have a little bit of a Cincinnati stack going on with 2 of them. It's a mini stack, I know. But now you look at some of your bye weeks. So we have 2 wide receivers that are on bye week 11. Running back week 10. Week 7 we have a wide receiver and a wide receiver quarterback. So nothing to be overly concerned about at this point. Man, Michael Thomas is still sitting there at 88. Next picks, 132, 133. So after we got Tyler Boyd, Aaron Rodgers went off. Treylon Burks goes off Tua. From 122, someone jumped up from 112 to go get him, and Michael Thomas was still sitting there. So pick 114. So again, if you're going to be drafting soon, Michael Thomas still dropping with the injury that he's coming off of. So I'm really surprised to see him fall that low. Again, I didn't want to take the chance on him. I don't really need another wide receiver at this point. Probably worth a look, but he's going to start the season on the PUP list. Jamison Crowder, that's an interesting pick. New offense for Jamison. I think he's going to have a decent season. Irv Smith going away. Rashad White. Who's Rondale White? Am I crazy? Is that an old running back from like the 90s? One thing I do like to do, and it's a little bit more difficult to do on the desktop version, is looking at the rosters of everyone else. So like you can see who's taking who has what, who needs what. Sometimes you'll fall into something, you're like, oh snap, they still don't have any running backs. There's probably going to be a lot of running backs to go next. So they're still missing a tight end, Kenny. He's probably just going to keep waiting to get his tight end. So keep that in mind that if Kenny doesn't take a tight end and we're still looking for our backup tight end, there's probably going to be 2 that go back to back later on in the draft. Schwartzy still doesn't have a quarterback. Wow. Mac Jones goes pick 121. I'm kind of surprised by that. Who is still left at quarterback? So Mac Jones went over Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence, Matt Ryan in a new offense, Jameis Winston, Daniel Jones, and Zach. Well, I guess not over Zach Wilson. Same as Zach Wilson. That's really surprising. Okay, so then Wilson goes. Trevor Lawrence goes. All right, let's stop looking at the lineups. Tolbert, really surprised that he goes this early. Tim Patrick. Actually, I'm not too surprised. Dallas is a passing offense. Marlon Mack. I think Marlon Mack is an excellent play. A few years ago, he was a 1,000-yard back. Do not forget. He's now in Houston, where he's going to have to compete with a couple of people, but no one really scares you. I think Rex Burkhead is his main competition in Houston. Again, that Houston offense isn't going to run the ball a lot. They're going to be behind a decent amount of the time. But someone has to be back there in the backfield. And who knows, maybe Davis Mills is the real deal. Marlon Mack could be open for a big season. He loves to catch the ball out of the backfield. They threw the ball out of the backfield a decent amount last year. So again, he never started, but he is capable of catching the ball out of the backfield. And again, a few years ago, before they had Jonathan Taylor there in Indianapolis, Marlon Mack was a 1,000-yard guy. All right, so people are starting to reach, which is fine with me. Cole Kmet could be the next pick that we take at tight end. Again, nothing to write home about, nothing to scream about, nothing to shoot and shout about. But he does have a couple of big games. Josh Fields, gonna need to find someone to throw to. So I wouldn't be mad getting, Justin Fields, not Josh Fields. Cole Kmet could be an option for us. Pat Freiermuth also could be an option. He had some big weeks. But I think just with what Justin Fields has done so far, being a little bit more comfortable in this offense, we'll take Cole Kmet. And then I kind of want a wide receiver here. Devontae Parker, the new number 2 in New England. Dotson, Van Jefferson, Kenny Golladay, Michael Gallup. Do we take the chance on him coming back from injury and being an absolute force that he was on a couple of weeks with Amari Cooper gone? I think so, because we have a couple of really reliable guys. You look, we have Mike Evans, DJ Moore, Adam Thielen, Christian Kirk, Tyler Boyd, and now we have Michael Gallup, who could spike at any week and gives us a nice replacement for this week 7 bye week, where we have 2 guys that are on bye. If y'all can see it down here, I'm sorry. We have the 2 guys that are on bye week 7. 3 players that are on bye week 7, so we get a nice little a change of pace there. After we take Michael Gallup, Ronald Jones goes from Kansas City. Really good pick. Devontae Parker, again, new home for him. He's no longer in Miami. I expect similar numbers this year. Pat Freiermuth goes to Kenny. Kenneth Walker goes later than a lot of people expected. Again, ranked 113, went off at 138. Jared Goff ranks 177. So Niners trying to get a couple of quarterbacks, and I'm kind of surprised that Jared Goff goes before Justin Fields and Matt Ryan. Even Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill is a great backup quarterback for you. 27, 14, 11, 15, 16, 18. That's good enough for a backup or second guy, just in case your team gets an injury. Yes, they're just going to feed it to Derrick Henry, but they're going to have to throw a couple of times. You have to keep it at least a little bit off balance. So who knows? Maybe we take him. We need to get another running back. We need another tight end. Running back, tight end, and quarterback should probably be our next 3 picks. We have 3 additional wide receivers on the bench. We don't have any bye weeks that we really have to worry about. Maybe week 13 is the next one we have to avoid, just to get a nice replacement there. But again, I'm not too worried about it because we have plenty of other players. Christian Kirk starting on most fantasy teams. Cole Kmet could be a starter on a couple of fantasy teams. So tight end, running back, we definitely need another running back. And there's plenty available, so I'm not too worried about that one. But we definitely need a running back and possibly quarterback. So our next pick is going to be 156, 157. Again, it's so out of whack right now. We're about 10 picks away. 7 picks away, I think is what it is. So 7 picks away. So you look, Kenneth Gainwell's here, who is a pass-catching back. 16, 18. You have a lot of blanks. 19, 6, 2, 6. Not great. 20. But if Miles Sanders goes down, which he has been prone to, certainly an option. Boston Scott goes down. Kenneth Gainwell's a little bit more elevated. Khalil Herbert was a great replacement for David Montgomery in the games that he had to fill in for him last year. 21, 19, and 8 in the 3 games that he started. And then without that, a decent amount. David Montgomery could be injured, could be worth a pick for us. But we need at least 1 running back here and a wide receiver. I think Robbie Anderson has a bounce back year. An improved offensive line, give the speedster a little bit more time and space. He wasn't even bad last year. Look at 3 of his last 5 games are double digits. You're getting him at pick 142. I guess technically pick 156 up here. Joshua Palmer from LA Chargers is a good one. Hunter Henry is good. Gerald Everett with the Chargers, also a decent pick. But I think we're going to go Khalil Herbert for our first pick, just so we can shore up our running back situation, because we only have 2. So we need to start getting some running backs in here. We'll go Khalil Herbert, and then Gus Edwards down here at the bottom. could be our next pick. Why? Because I freaking love Gus Edwards. Is it a little bit of a reach because of his injury? Yes. Is he going to be ready for week 1? Maybe. I have high hopes that he is. Normally I would get another wide receiver, but I feel like Tyler Boyd, Michael Gallup, and Christian Kirk is enough for now, and we'll take Gus Edwards at the running back position. Looking at some other running backs that we'll be targeting pretty soon. Brian Robinson, probably going to be spelling as the number 2 back there in Washington. Chris Evans in Cincinnati. Sony Michel, I do like, but that is such a loaded backfield in Miami right now. Yeah, I think there's 4 guys there that were all starters with their teams last year. But Jerick McKinnon's a good one. Raheem Mostert's in Miami again. Williams. Darrell Williams caught the ball out of the backfield. Matter of fact, Darrell Williams, if he's available, might be my next pick. He was a great pass catching back in Kansas City. Chase Edmond is gone from Arizona. They're going to need some pass catchers early on in the season, and Darrell Williams could provide that. James Conner, obviously the starter, but they definitely made room for Chase Edmond last year. So we're 17 picks away, 180, 181, 17 picks away. We'll look at some of the players that will be available just in that immediate area. Jamal Williams out of Detroit. He was good spelling DeAndre Swift last year. You look at some of these spike games that he has. 13, 13, 14. Austin Hooper, another tight end. Kendrick Bourne in New England. I don't think he's going to have as good of a year he did last year because of the addition of Devontae Parker. Raheem Mostert, Paris Campbell, Jerick McKinnon in Kansas City is going to be the number 2 back, and I absolutely love Jerick McKinnon. Maybe the 3. Devin Duvernay, Baker Mayfield. So Brian Robinson should be available when we get up again, as well as Darrell Williams. That's who we're hoping for, Darrell Williams, and if not that, Brian Robinson. Still looking for a possible quarterback, a 3rd tight end. We only have 2. And possibly a wide receiver, but we'll probably take 2 flyers down at the end of this draft. So I would like to go running back, tight end, or running back, quarterback, depending on who's available. And then we'll go another running back situation down here because we got Gus Edwards, Khalil Herbert. I don't think they're going to be starters. They could be nice spellers. Joe Mixon and Cam Akers are going to be starters for their team, but there is that chance that Darrell Henderson eats into those Cam Akers numbers. Looking at who's been drafted recently, again, we picked Gus Edwards. KJ Osborne goes off in Minnesota. Decent pick. Gerald Everett, good pick. David Njoku, good pick, but we don't know who his quarterback's going to be. Robert Tonyan, an excellent pick with limited pass catchers in Green Bay. Robert Tonyan going at pick 161, normally drafted at 150, was a good steal. Evan Ingram in Jacksonville. I believe they still have Dan Arnold and a couple of other pass catchers. Not sure what that offense is going to look like. Kyle Rudolph, again, another option who was just recently signed. Kenny Golladay, New York Giants. I think a lot of people are expecting Kenny Golladay to have a bounce back year. Kendrick Bourne, we've been over it. Nico Collins, interesting pick. Should have a good year. If you're a believer in Davis Longneck Mills, take Nico Collins. Joshua Palmer, Sammy Watkins out of Green Bay. I don't know how he's going so low. I personally want to wait to see what he can do, see how this offense shapes up. But really surprised Sammy Watkins is going this low. Deshaun Watson, Josh Dotson, Marvin Jones, another wide receiver out of Jacksonville. Again, I think Jacksonville's going to have an improved year from what they've had previously. The pick that I love that I see the most, or the pick that I love the most that I see right here, is probably Braxton Berrios. He's the number 2 wide receiver there in New York for the Jets. Really, really excited to see what he can do. All right, it's our pick. Am I crazy? Okay. We talked about the running back that we wanted to get. Darrell Williams out of Arizona. That's who we want. That's who we're locking in. And now we have to decide if we want to go Brian Robinson or go with a tight end. Cameron Brate. Hayden Hurst could be an option in Cincinnati. Don't hate it. Don't love it. Austin Hooper, probably going to be the number 1 tight end in Tennessee. Logan Thomas, had a good year when healthy. So that might be who we lock in, is that he had bigger weeks when available and when healthy. So we'll go Logan Thomas. Again, I don't hate any of these. I love all of them about the same. Tyler Conklin is another guy that you can go down and get at pick 232. Wide receivers, I don't really love this little pocket of wide receivers. There are some more that I do like. None of them right there. Laviska Shenault, I think if he's traded, he has value. And if he sticks around, he has value. Terrace Marshall Jr., KJ Hamler, in the event there's any injury or anything that happens with Jerry Jeudy. KJ Hamler immediately elevated. Zay Jones, another one that's in Jacksonville. James Washington heading over to Dallas, just going to be a speedster that gets up and down the field. Westbrook-Ikhine, A.J. Brown is gone. They probably have some use for Westbrook-Ikhine. Don't think he's going to be a significant starter, but again, he did have spells of goodness last year. Man, there's a lot of wide receivers that went. I'm surprised this many wide receivers went. You see one name down here, Justin Ross. Might take a flyer on him in Kansas City. So glad we got our wide receivers in early for the most part. Hop back down here. Look, we have Mike Evans, DJ Moore, Adam Thielen. Those are 3 very good starters. Christian Kirk, Michael Gallup, and Tyler Boyd for the pop weeks. I'm fine with that. We definitely need to get another wide receiver and quarterback. So Byron Pringle in Chicago could be an option. Alec Pierce, I don't love. Pickens in Pittsburgh, I've seen him go off pretty quickly. Curtis Samuel might have a year. Didn't really do much last year. He was in and out with injuries. You look at some of these numbers, borderline pathetic. John Mechie, I think he could surpass Nico Collins and be the starter there for the Houston Texans. Again, he is coming off an injury, so it's going to be later in the year. But John Mechie, Terrace Marshall, and KJ Hamler are probably the 3 that I love the most in that next area. Going back to just overall people, Brian Robinson is still available. Zamir White, I don't love. And of course, who gets drafted? Zamir White. Isaiah McKenzie, I really like out of Buffalo. Donta Foreman's right here. He'll be the red zone back that fills in for Christian McCaffrey when Christian McCaffrey does inevitably get injured. But Chuba Hubbard is going to be the guy that gets the majority of the passes out of the backfield. Not sure exactly what Ben McAdoo, the new offensive coaching staff, is going to do in Carolina. But Donta Foreman could be worth a shot. And then Julio Jones, wherever he signs, there goes Donta Foreman. Listen, if we talk about him, they're going to get drafted. So I think Julio Jones, if he signs anywhere, when one wide receiver goes down in spring training, Julio Jones is going to be that guy. Oh, and then Chuba Hubbard goes off the board next. I'm kind of surprised at that. Look at the tight ends again. Mo Allaqcess in Indianapolis. Matt Ryan does like to use his tight ends. So he likes to use his tight ends. Tyler Conklin. I think Tyler Conklin is going to have a very good year. Ryan Tannehill is still available. If he's there, and we're still looking for our 3rd quarterback because we have Kyler Murray, we have Jalen Hurts. We need a 3rd quarterback. Ryan Tannehill is an option. Marcus Mariota could be an option. But after that, it's not looking too good for us. Drew Lock out of Seattle, but we don't even know if he's going to be the starter at this point. Mitch Trubisky, probably the starter. There goes Ryan Tannehill. So, as of right now, we're rolling with Kyler Murray and Jalen Hurts as our 2 starters. Our best bet might be to go get Jalen Hurts or Kyler Murray's backup. As crazy as that sounds, that might be our best bet. Like, it's got to be Marcus Mariota that starts this year, right? Like, it has to be Marcus Mariota that starts for them. We could go John Mechie, get another wide receiver, and then tight end. At this point, we are so committed. No, we have to just take the precautionary quarterback. I think we have to take a precautionary quarterback here. I don't know if anyone else is actually going to draft a quarterback. We probably should have looked at that. Again, would have been helpful if we would have looked. But I'm too busy talking. So we'll just put in Marcus Mariota. Again, I'm happy with the wide receivers that we have, so I don't feel like really reaching. But we do need another tight end. They're still going to be there. Tyler Conklin might be gone, but there's still plenty of opportunity. Jonnu Smith out of New England. Rob Gronkowski not going to be there, but Mo Allaqcess probably the best one available. Tyler Conklin, O.J. Howard in Buffalo with Dawson Knox. Dan Arnold again in Jacksonville. Isaiah Likely out of Baltimore. With limited pass catches that they have, I think Isaiah Likely, a guy who watched a lot of Sunbelt football, could be in for a decent amount of usage, could be worth a flyer. If Mo Allaqcess and Tyler Conklin are both gone, I'll probably reach down here to Isaiah Likely. No idea at this point in the season if he's going to be used. Tommy Tremble, going to be a starter for Carolina. A starter. Don't expect any big numbers from him, okay? Let it be known. If Sam Darnold's there, don't expect good numbers. But he's going to get you at least something. Very physical. Very strong. Does not get injured. He's in on passing situations. He's in on running situations. So, as a third emergency tight end, Tommy Tremble could be good. We might honestly go 2 tight ends here. Like, look at our running backs. Joe Mixon, Cam Akers. Joe Mixon, Cam Akers. Khalil Herbert, Gus Edwards, Darrell Williams. I'm okay with that. We could use another running back depending on who's available. But I'm fine with these 3 guys being backup. I think Gus Edwards could have starting numbers, especially in Baltimore when they kind of ran like a stable of backs. Darrell Williams going to get decent usage. I would expect him to be between 8 and 10 points most weeks, even behind James Conner, especially early in the season, though, when they are down DeAndre Hopkins. The wide receivers, let's see where we're at. Okay, we got 3 picks to us. Let's just see what's available. Let's go to our running backs. Hassan Haskins, going to be the backup to Derrick Henry. Mike Davis, probably going to be the starter if J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards are not healthy at the beginning of the year. James White could be healthy. Boston Scott. Trey Sermon, the running back out of San Francisco. I thought Trey Sermon, at the beginning of the year, I thought Trey Sermon was going to be that guy. I thought he was going to be that guy. And then never appeared again. And now, in the meantime, they've drafted a couple other people. Hassan Haskins might be worth a shot, depending on what tight ends are still available. Tyler Conklin's still there. That'll be our pick 1. Hassan Haskins, pick 2. Tommy Tremble, pick 3. There's only 2 picks before us, so most of those guys should still be there. Zach Moss goes off. Again, Hassan Haskins, Tyler Conklin. Take him. Go back over to this. Take Tyler Conklin, who, again, got a decent amount of usage. He has a 12. There's a 10, a 10, a 20, a 16. Stop sleeping on my boy. Tyler Conklin, lock it in. There's the squad. Kyler Murray, Joe Mixon. It's a little unfortunate we weren't able to pair our quarterback with any wide receivers, with the exception of Zach Ertz. But, hey, it is what it is. Kyler Murray should be able to stand alone because of his rushing upside for rushing touchdowns. 34, 38, 22, 22. I'm happy with that. You look at Jalen Hurts, our backup quarterback. He might put up more numbers than Kyler Murray on some days. 28, 25, 31, 23, 26. I'm happy with either one of these guys in my lineup, week in and week out. Kyler Murray, Joe Mixon, and Cam Akers should both be starters. I don't love Joe Mixon. I think I would have probably liked, looking back, DeAndre Swift a little bit more. Mike Evans, DJ Moore, Adam Thielen. We had to reach for tight ends because we did miss on Dallas Goedert or Godare. So we have Zach Ertz starting at the tight end position. Christian Kirk as a backup wide receiver. Tyler Boyd as a backup wide receiver. Cole Kmet as another tight end. So Cole Kmet and Zach Ertz going to be our 2 tight ends going into the season. A flurry of backup running backs with Khalil Herbert, Gus Edwards, Darrell Williams, another tight end in Logan Thomas, John Mechie, Marcus Mariota, Hassan Haskins, and then Tyler Conklin. Tyler Conklin might be a nice little flex pick on a couple of weeks. He has that kind of pop. John Mechie, don't know what we're going to get out of him. Logan Thomas, although oft injured, could put up some decent numbers. You got Scary Terry and Curtis Samuel there in Washington. They're going to be playing from behind a lot, so I expect them to do a lot of passing, which makes me really like Logan Thomas. Probably didn't need the Tyler Conklin pick. Could have gone with another wide receiver or running back. But we have Hassan Haskins, who's going to be spelling Derrick Henry. Might get a little bit of usage. They're going to be overusing Derrick Henry with limited pass catchers in their offense this year. So I like it. The one we didn't get is Isaiah Likely, but that's still such a question mark that I'm fine not getting Isaiah Likely. You look at some of these late round picks and who people are taking will stay. In these last, I guess, 3 rounds after we took Marcus Mariota, they went Brian Robinson, Zay Jones, Jacksonville, Pickens from Pittsburgh, Pringle, Chenault, Chris Evans. Surprised he's going this low. Terrace Marshall Jr. in the event Robbie Anderson goes down or the Carolina Panthers and Ben McAdoo want to spread the ball out a little bit more. I think he has huge upside. Jeff Wilson Jr., Sony Michel in that crowded Miami Dolphins backfield. Duke Johnson, Jennings, Mo Alley Cox. I think this is a really good pick for Schwartzy. Jared Garoppolo. Did I call him Jared? And what is going on with me today? I can't figure out names. Jimmy Garoppolo at pick 241. He has requested a trade, so he's not going to be starting in San Francisco, but wherever he does inevitably end up going, could be the starter. KJ Hamler, good upside in Denver with Russell Westbrook now as his quarterback. Keyshawn Vaughn. Hey, if Leonard Fournette is coming in at over 260 pounds or whatever it is, Keyshawn Vaughn, a nice pick. Westbrook Akine, Kenyon Drake in Las Vegas. Again, there's a couple of running backs in Las Vegas now, so Josh Jacobs' numbers could be down. Kenyon Drake and everyone else could be up. James Washington, a nice pick. Zach Moss, I don't love, but hey, Buffalo's going to do a running back by committee. Romeo Doubs, a bit of an interesting pick. It could pay off huge for him. Hassan Haskins, again, the backup to Derrick Henry, or a backup, one of the backups. N'Keal Harry in Chicago. Shakir in Buffalo, another wide receiver for Buffalo. I don't know how far Buffalo's depth chart's going to be going. That's an interesting pick. Mike Davis, Boston Scott. Edwards for Atlanta. I guess he's on his second stop now from the University of South Carolina. Myles Gaskin, another Miami Dolphin running back. The tight end out of Denver. We'll see how Russell Wilson uses them and the wide receivers that they currently have. Isaiah McKenzie, Mitchell Trubisky, Hilliard, the running back out of Tennessee, running back 3, and Rashard Higgins. That is the 6th wide receiver or pass catcher that we've seen from Carolina, and I am stunned to see that happen. Absolutely stunned. Now, if you've enjoyed this video and enjoyed this premise, enjoyed me talking you through my drafting process, please give a thumbs up to the video. If you liked it at any point, drop a comment and let me know. If I screwed up and you think, wow, Bradley, you really are an idiot for missing Dallas Goedert, please put that in the comments below. I absolutely read every single comment, and I love interacting with y'all. I love doing these drafts. I do one about once a day as we get ready for best ball season. I'm probably going to pause for about 2 weeks, see how depth charts play out. The Hall of Fame game is not that far away. It's not that far away. And then we get into preseason and the regular season, so we'll probably do 10 to 15 in that very last week before the season starts. I appreciate you. My name's Bradley with Allaqcess Sports. You can find us on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook at Allaqcess. Find me there. I'll be sure to follow you back on any of those platforms. Any questions, leave it in the comments. But guys, I'll see you back for our sleepers, studs, and stacks. We'll probably do a couple more of these videos. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good one.